People collecting bribe with careless abandon. People who think that they are entitled to take bribes. How can we get rid of corruption? I'm not saying that nobody should appreciate the work that you are doing. But when you make it a condition, somebody should give you some money before you perform your duties. I want to talk very frankly to you. Somebody joins customs, 2-3 years, the person is putting up a building. The person owns a car. In what organization will it take you 3 years to build?
Chief of Staff and Ministers of State, I wish that we had come with better news. Unfortunately, we are the bearers of bad news. I know you've heard, but in Ghana and Africa, we also have our traditions. We have to follow and formally inform you that your son that you gave to us to work with us, unfortunately,
John Dramani Mahama, John Ababio, John Kwame Nkrumah, we de John Atta Mills. 13 years ni ana yehre ya papa ye friend John Evans Atta Mills. Nyankopon fa papa no kra ensie ye pa. Na unfortunately for the NDC and John Mahama ne Atta Mills abusuafo ofiri mu in 2012 NDC take over sa wini akunya. The vice president at that time, John Mahama, Obama NDC retaining Kunyano till 2016. And a Ghana first, as you win a humanity in your waters, Gonza. In the last 8 years, in your MPP with Nana Adodan Kwagufado, or then the vice, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Now, after that 8 years, finally, the name of John Evans Atta Mills this time around, every NDC for because previously from Asunjue Park, young Kongoye, a friend say, young Kai, the late President John Evans Atta Mills, ni nane the MPP, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo for John Evans Atta Mills. You know, who you know, the NDC president. Wabetina Kunyaso as a Ghana president. And he, Esi Sarnas Akoye, as a way the Yomodia, Jomun Sharon Tritini. And then, Abusiafo Shiaye, Adofo Shiaye, Ghana Fo Shiaye, Party for Shiaye. I will Asunjue Park. Bia ye say, Papa no, na upese wo describing in one word na ye say o pe Asunjue. Enti owu ye no, bia de go to ye no, dia de to so Asunjue Park. Eho, ana mpanimfo akugudam ekoshiaye. Na omushia ye no Awurade Nyankopon ensem firi ho baaye. John Evans Atta Mills kan semi ya. John Dramani Mahama ekaye sa asem na okan no. Se Ghana ni bia o nante bia no enante ema na koma mu enye se John Evans Atta Mills. Owi na se ni nkatia se the previous government John Evans Atta Mills e share na bufo ba ene o se ensuo eche otu mu a ejikan kan so na bon aye say afono no dondo at afono te gare so kasemu ani we zadan yo say de mi hu ye pa mrebi ansana sa ceremony ibe be koso no ana me ka kire me ho say yempo ese be power ne ye be sansan ne mani na de ne me gina Mekasa. Way a naked truth on Oldboga trends. They didn't know Maxi Billian. Me are sure say was subscribe here that you like it. Share naked children say also Omra Oldboga trends. Oh, naked truth no so. Pepe na young concept no more. John Evans Atta Mills. The 13 year ni and ojai oko here. Paparo eso on the samai here so kama. Nti afibia no edura ye kai no ye ifu so me de kai ne say papa okoye no mfie ba ko ni okoye no mfie mienu ni na aduru mfie du miensa nti na du miensa no 13 good years then na ye de kai efa ho na say another president of the land John Dramani Mahama ana the boss John Atta Mills kwan yesu no fa so aravi oduru ye na masa na cars ketwa bi nice cars kama waje na tade chese we say we de empenifo ya sheda poma momo we de ye ntuma aye sheda pam president John Dramani Mahama shene de kama
Park is the president. His Excellency is exchanging greetings with senior members of the party and in government as the Vice President shares her greetings with the family of
Owie no ne hu say chairman general said nketia esu de so so oba there say abrante the workers atoso na me papa no e the workers atoso agbabete say bibia papa na duru de wanyini onya abrante say bio watra youth onya 50 bio o si te plus the Speaker of Parliament Albert Money Babe so epiem ewo dwumadi na se oba na tze ochenchia odenchia mampenifo a omodi kan wo nanim dada Atta Mills ono ane ba ne doba namia wodi awari ahese so mo so ware Kofi Atta Mills one ne hokani ebepiem wo ompapa ne ananse ne papa 13 year awo free mu awo Ghana ha ama Ghana yesu no onso bepiem awase awo to dwe park onso gintia iwe de send ye ensembe na ebekoso wan ne beri kan kasa ne se John Dramani Mahama wona ye o boss wona se o kasa na before se John Dramani Mahama ebe kasa no kai 30 years ago in 2012 Abraham the boss yedi na ye papa ye nua ye wofa John Atta Mills uncle Atta jaye hokoye no na eduru say the presidency e say obi free obe kasa e che Ghana for say de motete no awo radio so no e no kore awo amamre kwa so na the only person at that time according to NDC omo party leadership no the very moment ebeto aba na omunipa bedi nkonim as a president outeso no ono na automatically obe pani e party ni mu followed by the vice and then the chairman of the party enti John Dramani Mahama jimpie no ye na so obe kasa uranya nkopo super yes be su na so na John Dramani Mahama esu be su na John Dramani Mahama esu papa no kasa 3 seconds bia na wakaunt na nuatum te say o control no na o describe John Atta Mills e ka de ntia enne no gina ha a obekasa na o Ghana fu na den e ma yakọ na onu amu no awurade nyankopon esupa.
Chief of Staff and Ministers of State, I wish that we had come with better news. Unfortunately, We are the bearers of bad news. I know you've heard, but in Ghana and Africa, we also have our traditions. We have to follow and formally inform you that your son that you gave to us to work with us, unfortunately, he has gone on to the village. It happened tragically on Tuesday, the 24th. He had given me an assignment together with the Chief of Staff to represent him at a program. And so we went for the program. We finished the program and came back to the castle. And I went to my office, and the Chief of Staff continued to his office. I got a call from the Chief of Staff after about 30 minutes, and he told me he had been called to the residence, and so he rushed. And when he went, what he saw was not good. The president was not in a very good state. Happily, we have an ambulance station at the castle, and so they called the ambulance, and they rushed him to 37 Hospital. The doctors tried everything, but God knows best. At 2:15 on Tuesday afternoon, he passed away at 37 Hospital. It's our duty to come and inform you, officially and formally. And so that's why we are here. I know it's a great loss to you, and it's a great loss to us too. But it's a great loss to the people of Ghana, to Africa and the world. If it gives you consolation, I would say that since he passed away, we have received a lot of messages from great international leaders of the world's biggest countries, all expressing their condolences at the passing away of this very, very, very dear leader of ours.
Eti wey any dey see 13 years ago, Abrana John Dramani Mahama all declare actually Ghana for announce actually Ghana for say the boss, the president of the land, John Atta Mills, and the baby called sir pepe ne koye na wey we dey say papa no ti dwumadi na say enne so besa kasa na apia stadium ekotena ne change say Nyankopon o panipa ba ko ono de bebia o hobby where dey ase oginam ayi ase oginam mukoye go da year oginam de koye bia na otufo na ko oginam say John Dramani Mahama na ko oginam apia stadium kotena president nchen ne bon komo kakra wie mare handshake o we dey say president emena so kwana da ho be kasa no so yo mate o say me Nyankopon anim ye 13 years ni ana ne boss the Ghana ye president John Atta Mills enya ne baby ko na no kra nya mi anim ni onye sure say etwaye say ye be kasa afibia so a ne ya begina ha ne ya kansem de e dey afa John Atta Mills ho o say John Atta Mills ade ba ko ne eye ne nema obetimi dia describe no pa e na hombrase any kwan na ofa so ye accountable to the people of Ghana. Say accountability e ade na papa no papa. In fact ono John Dramani Mahama so onya sa motivation and ne obes accountability e ye adwuma wo Ghana ha na fi the boss John Atta Mills so ono na ahye ni nkran nti anne o say operation recover all loot obi oboy kroni bia ye nche no because na the boss John Atta Mills obi anim say no ikejiwa.
Increasingly impatient, increasingly loud, and sometimes careless with truth, Prof. Mills's life reminds us of the power of stillness, strength in gentleness, and the enduring force of quiet conviction. Today, our country faces many challenges. We inherited an economy in deep distress. We face social divisions that threaten our cohesion and a growing weariness among our people. But if there's one lesson we draw from the life of President Mills, it is that no challenge is insurmountable. When we lead with integrity, when we listen with empathy, and when we govern with principle. It is that lesson that I strive to follow in the reset agenda that we have adopted. So let me say for emphasis that our reset agenda today rests on the foundation of the Better Ghana agenda that was laid by Professor J.E.A. Mills. Asumdwe Park is not just a final resting place, it is a national symbol, a living reminder of what our politics can be and must become. It calls to us to lower our voices and elevate our purpose. It calls on us to be kinder and more accountable, and to remember that in the end, leadership is about legacy, and it's not to be found in statues or slogans, but in the lives of the people that we touch and the examples that we leave behind. To the people of Ghana, let us recommit ourselves to the Ghana that Professor Mills believed in, a Ghana that is united in diversity, strong in values, and anchored in peace. And to Professor Mills, our father, our leader, our teacher, I say, rest well. You may be gone from our sight, but you are never gone from our hearts.
Na oye na ka say onim de na mom amampanifo bi a wotwam no ahomaso pa we de ase yahu ni pokra chama wo kana asem o say bi ahomaso chese omo de di a president na ne pese de from na mom no your former president ofiri onya ne baby ko 13 years ago John Evans Atta Mills o say ono de enye akesesem enye me na me president o brand ho ase e wo dokwan so e de ma obi bia onfa wo se wo pani ana wo akola onfa wo se wo ba ana wo bema onfa wo se wo ni appointee ana se wo CEO bi ana se wo business owner bi we hia wo obia o brand ho ase e ma no ene ni di nkomo se de se na fata na de ne boss Ghana, your former president John Evans Atta Mills here no. Okay bia na hye ni nkran say edikwa so man na beti so da. E so brand ho ase say oba say observe Ghana for.
It is not enough for us to lay wreaths at his grave once a year. It is not enough for us to sing his praises in death. The most authentic tribute we can give Professor John Atta Mills is to carry forward the values that he held dear. Is to rekindle the spirit of humility and accountability. Rekindle the spirit of ethical leadership that he exemplified. He believed in justice, not just as a legal principle, but as a way of life. He believed that peace was not the absence of conflict, but the presence of fairness and dignity. He believed that the power that was entrusted to leaders should be used to uplift the weak, protect the vulnerable, and give voice to the voiceless. In a world that is increasingly impatient, increasingly loud, and sometimes careless with truth, Professor Mills's life reminds us of the power of stillness, strength in gentleness, and the enduring force of quiet conviction. Today, our country faces many challenges. We inherited an economy in deep distress. We face social divisions that threaten our cohesion and a growing weariness among our people. But if there's one lesson we draw from the life of President Mills, it is that no challenge is insurmountable.
Now we know say the boss John Evans Atta Mills fight corruption. And the also fight corruption. Now in fact, Obeka say the boss kwanya no fight corruption no. Among for bebre hu ye. na bi mpɛ because amafo person me corrupt but one I know jitum say Ghana fa ntum bofra nim say the fight na a just cause na kwanya na otese obi corrupt bibia na odwa no de bufu no so otrase sometimes na okai kwanya no for ni edi nkomo about corruption issues na na kai ne say de papa no pese Ghana ni bia ye eno de na ote no we a real symbol of good governance, no corruption, accountability. Jane Atta Mills kan ye bia ye hu ye ntia John Dramani Mahama the current president e ka kire ya yenti. Now we and you see the famous Atta Mills quote or no and I see the famous Atta Mills speech. Abra papa ni dwa ye ko pie mu port. Tema aba wurade nyankopon. That was the day Ghana ni bia who say, hey, say ye persundwe me persundwe, papa na nim sere no. Ye wo days bi wo e duru a na ne bufu a oyo unstoppable. Say that Ghana ni bia otie bia hu dwire no. Na that was the day Ghana ni bia so pay papa na sempa. Oko fire custom for fire. A friend is saying Port and Harbor for fire mo say yes or fire mo. Or say Juma ben ye 2-3 years I give me this fee. This a monkwa. Kronon kwa na mabwa na mate. And then we buy my humi. My man boy for mate. Mo say Ghana. Na de muye. Beside the one in more to us more flower. I beg o bibia, me po bia so. Sa speech no ma no. Be sin de. Ghana ni bia so otia. Na wo se guno.
You are in charge of revenue. Every day we hear reports about malpractices, people collecting bribes with careless abandon, people who think that they are entitled to take bribes. How can we get rid of corruption? I'm not saying that nobody should appreciate the work that you are doing, but when you make it a condition, somebody should give you some money before you perform your duties. I've known Customs for quite some time. I was Commissioner of Internal Revenue, and the announced video confirmed the fears I've had for quite some time. Look at yourself. I want to talk very frankly to you. Somebody joins Customs, 2-3 years, the person is putting up a building. The person owns a car. In what organization will it take you 3 years to build? And it is not the exception. It is the rule. Very often, my Minister for Finance is worried about the fiscal gap that we have. And your duty is to collect, to display transparency in the way you operate. And I'm happy with the initiative that General Mode has taken. And I give him my full support. My brothers and sisters, let me be very honest with you. If it means transferring everybody, I will give him the authority to do so. If it means changing all the people in Customs, I will do so. Because we do not owe anybody anything. But I know there are good people amongst you. The good people should be influencing the bad ones. Because your reputation now has been soiled.
Now, John Dramani Mahama, I say Johnny was at Atta Akasa, ama yehu ne passion, ne commitment, and owo. Edima Ghana, dia enye huligwale, edumonesi. But the way na man ye passionate, right? And the Ghana was you, yehu na si mo. Enti what is say member no me se me be reset Ghana, and me say yes, yate ozimo. Baby a sa reset no menya me motivation free ho. Me hwe kwan na papa no pese o better Ghana agenda na e kai me say ese e come back na e reset Ghana no. It is like kwa say better Ghana agenda no. Ghana have to be better. Ese it ma Ghana na better ma be John University Atta Mills ne kra wo bia no ne neje. O we no wa fancy one ka say look. O hwe asudwe park o hoy time. O be ka say enye papa we na ye president a o ye sitting president owu akunya so. Oh, ya bra na all serve Ghana. Eti esenka ne asundwe park ni siesie oye ye okama. But the state na wo me there enye ompe. Eti o she Ghana football, o she Atta Mills ebusu football, o she ndisi football, o she Ghana ni bia bo se asundwe park no ye be ni hoye ye be okama. Pa.
It is that lesson that I strive to follow in the reset agenda that we have adopted. So let me say for emphasis that our reset agenda today rests on the foundation of the Better Ghana agenda that was laid by Prof. J.E. Mills.
Now, Oriana, General Mosquito, Johnson has said, you get ya. As I say, Oba be no one can be there, and one more here. And I say, last year. Not Johnny was at Atta Mills. The 12 years, I will free me. They say, you have made the same ceremony. And ya kaino. Na Oriana Kayaka Debia near Coso, near Matan, Tabia near Coso. I say, Atta Mills a party. DB. A horn of vow a doing and coupon hotel so they say. Quan be as well in this very claim power. And so reclaiming because sans and phony.
Exactly a year ago, when I was invited to give a brief comments as I'm doing at this commemoration, I struggled to contain my anger about what I saw in the morning, but I mustered enough courage to declare that what we were seeing on that day will be the last time any such thing will happen at the commemoration of the passing of the King of Peace. Because for the past so many years, we have had to endure the contradiction of commemorating the passing of a man of peace in the midst of some confusion. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today, the story is different. And in my mathematical lessons in school, we're taught that when there is a formula that contains constants and variables, where the answer changes, that change in answer can only be attributable to the change in the variables. So the formula for the celebration of this event has remained the same formula. The date, 24th July, has remained the same. The true family of Professor Mills has remained the true family of Professor Mills.
Aye, eti General Mosquito ase du ketia na ekase the King of Peace asunwie ni na hene awa asunwie park oso ohwe de na ye no ye treaty kwan ye fa so ye nyama tantan ne basa no ana se debi NDC ni ntimi nwu ewa kunya so me yenye na yakayeka de sei da onyi ntu won pene so won te ase de se sanema enti fortunate enough yes sanema enema ebeye de enti NDC say ene wo power enti omo opportunity de omo se omo hu anya bia obia no kwan da so betima asesa no enti ampani ampa se ne da so hia omo na hia omo besi na ene Ghana for say overwhelming majority omam tweeted in parliament mo na mosa wo president mo na position na mo dia mo na mo appoint obia ene kwan da ho nkonkoye na yewie no na se de bi yenka ye chi da mre no sa da na ade ni si ye do yenya all stars ye musicians na kukudam gospel artists, high life artists, hip life artists, reggae dancehall artists, samini mo obuo mo eresoma mo friends say konti inemo ochame kwame amongst bebrebe ne kabo mu as musicians and the tone. Now there was one part na ye amachi the day serious amachi the day part now two year no Ghana forces besin there as no one tiasi na as a example who tell you now just 10 seconds till you na mention was here
na femba no sena yenti akura de hwe kwandu maja kwantimfi
ose esum ato yan ensu anto yanti bosuo nka afe ba no sen ana genti akro ayede hwe kwan so adum aje kwantimfi. The rain didn't fall, neither did it drizzle. How then does the only lit firewood that show us the way quench on us in the middle of nowhere? Amati de dense mo kan na esamtia na o kan asem ni nyina na yenka bi chemu yen prepare na nye ready na yenim say John Atta Mills or say about the contest for the 2012 election. Na eba na sen ana wogya kwantimfi. Ade na want me amfu yandu ama me contestants anto aso and 24 years anwi. Ade na wan mo yanto amana na yanto 20 anumpu. Ade na isiye because that was the very first time a sitting president in Ghana Daniato abra ote akunya so. So na news a bru news bia so. And then you just news eke nipa ba ko na Ghana for uyi politics etwenten a ye don pa. Bisada no de see no. Then ani nyai. Ghana ni bia awre ho we. Yan fa no political color. Obia awre ho pa. Na ene NDC is in power. 30 years ni John Atta Mills edana toye. NDC say omo shebo Asundwe Park omekura kro hoyi. Na John Dramani Mahama say Ghana for yemfa nhye yetirim. Kwanya John Atta Mills for so kasa chire port for no. Said the ne ono so kasa chire port for say look charges bi wa mo charge anyanse nim enye ntie ne shipment duty bi ebe bia no I say parliament ya approve emamu se sika say na mutimejima ne yi no yensan come back to yachi na yen reset Ghana no to that level yema Ghana no enye Ghana ni bi enye asundwe ni Ghana ni bi enye passionate and committed to Ghana said na John Atta Mills etie no say na yesi ye do na ye do de na all ye ni dia na because na obre ne ho ase epe asundwe na saa so pepe no pese pepe yo eye adwuma awo na be mu nti se na mamu no ko ne saa de a wo ye Ghana ni na sa wo se ukai no na wo re ko na osu nko ade a mbre na so se wo so wo de pepa odo ene ahombrase ebe so Ghana man nti John Dramani Mahama, the president of the land okasa ye wa wre wo kwa so Abraham the boss John Atta Mills yedi ni 13 years abra ofrim a onkan ko biu enti na ko pemu Asundwe Park a awurade ampaya na nkejwa mpenifo de ebi ba pa MPs ahodo, businessmen ahodo, pastors ahodo, chief imams ahodo, umunna bipiem. Oh, John Atta Mills, the late former president of Republic of Ghana.
One thing that we will also like to draw our president's attention to is the library that has been built in honor of our dear brother, which was inaugurated about 10 years ago in Cape Coast, which seems not to have anything going on there. But we hope that as we are back, something will happen. We are grateful to all of you joining us each and every year. We are thankful to God, and we ask that the soul of our dear brother And all our dear departed ones continue to rest in our Lord's peace.
We a me naked truth. For our naked truth, at the comment section, I say, Jane, Anna Okai, Efa John Evans Atta Mills. Say, Yame, Edin Kwa Edomona, Nanka, Uvi say Nanka Ghana, Ubebun Mano, Eko Drew. Would you to me say the NDC, the current NDC, John Dramani Mahama say, or more reset it, I replicated that better Ghana agenda. Nay, Atta Mills, the motto in the slogan. Oh, yeah, sure. Say, as it stands now, the John Evans Atta Mills, you know, and the John Dramani Mahama, you know, pe, and I say, nyepe. For comments, at the comment section, I say, back me. Maybe say, oh, catch them, you okay, if I John Evans Atta Mills. Subscribe it, like it, na share my unya, in the budget. Edino, Maxi, Billian. Oldboga trends. Naked truth mackerel. Bye bye.